Willie D Live.
What's up, family? According to reports, the FBI knows who killed Trump supporter Charlie Kirk and is hot on his heels. This after Charlie Kirk was gunned down during the American Comeback Tour on Wednesday when he stopped at the Utah Valley University to have a few words with the students. To substantiate that claim, the FBI has recovered a high-powered bolt-action rifle near the campus of Utah Valley University. Robert Bowles, the FBI agent in charge, revealed the news in a press conference Thursday morning, adding the weapon was located in a wooded area. He also said that they have collected a palm imprint, a forearm imprint, and footwear impressions belonging to the suspect, a male that will be sent for analysis. They also have a treasure trove of video. They said they do have an image of the suspect, several images of the suspect, and they are pretty certain that they got their man. They're just trying to hunt him down. For those of you who don't know, Charlie Kirk was a right-wing activist and commentator. He had a popular YouTube channel. He's a popular podcaster. He's one of those dudes that railed against liberal views. All things liberal, he rejected. Moments before Charlie was shot on Wednesday, numerous live streams captured an audience member asking him, "Do you know how many mass shooters we've had in America in the last 10 years who were trans?" And Charlie said, "Too many." The answer was 5. Then he asked him, "Well, how many mass shootings in the past 10 years has America seen in total?" And Charlie said, "Are we talking with gang members or without?" And shortly after that, just boom, shot rang out. Charlie get hit in the neck. You can see the blood just, out of his neck. He seemed like he was trying to reach for it, but it was just, he was gone. Like he couldn't even get to his neck. He was like, he was trying to reach for it, but he was gone. I thought it was AI. Like, damn, I've seen stuff like that happen, but not to humans. You see that type of stuff, when people do war documentaries and stuff, and you be thinking, man, that's exaggerated. Nah, he hit that jugular, man. He hit that main artery. Yeah. So anyway, fam, the FBI believes that they have their man. They believe that they have him. They're not asking for help from the public right now because, they want to take all the credit. But yeah, they believe that they have their man, and it's just a matter of time before they actually put the cuffs on him. That's if they're able to take him in alive. I think they'll take him in alive. These type of dudes, they usually, when they do stuff like this, they usually don't take themselves out. It's something about being paraded before the public and, facing the jury of their so-called peers. They want to go through the motions. So typically, they don't allow themselves to get killed. The police don't want to kill them if they're white. If they're white, the police do not want to kill them. So usually, if they do die, they end up offing themselves. I find it extremely disrespectful that law enforcement is using so many resources to solve this murder when they don't put in an ounce of that amount of resources to solving everyday murder. Like, imagine if they did that though. Imagine if every single death was handled with the same amount of intensity, with the same amount of compassion, empathy, something that Charlie did not like. Charlie didn't appreciate empathy. In fact, where's his quote at on empathy? Oh yeah, man, he did not appreciate empathy at all. 3 years ago, in an episode of the Charlie Kirk Show, Charlie discussed how former U.S. President Bill Clinton used empathy and sympathy as a political strategy. His words: "I can't stand the word empathy. Actually, I think empathy is a made-up New Age term that does a lot of damage." You know he was married, right? How does a woman marry a man who can't stand the word empathy? Yeah. This man said, "I can't stand the word empathy." So what I'm trying to come to grips with here is, why should anybody have empathy for Charlie Kirk when he doesn't want your empathy? This ain't me. This is Charlie saying, I don't even respect it. I can't stand it. I think y'all doing Charlie a disgrace now. I think you're doing Charlie a disgrace. You know, Charlie didn't like empathy. Why do you have empathy for him? If Charlie was still alive and he saw you with your empathetic self, he would shame you. Yeah. So really, for all the people who are not showing empathy right now, they're doing exactly what Charlie would respect. So maybe y'all, the ones who are showing the empathy, are more of the problem, and the people who are not showing empathy are right in line with Charlie's views. I mean, am I making sense? Or you want to pick and choose? You know, like, are we going to use selective outrage and selective reasoning, right? This is what Charlie said about gun control. Very interesting quote. Charlie said regarding gun control, "It's worth it to have a cost of. Unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year, so that we can have the Second Amendment to protect our other God-given rights." Yeah, he said that. Now, this was a couple of years ago that he said that. He made a comment about gun deaths in the U.S. being worth it to ensure the continued existence of the Second Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, which is the right to keep and bear arms. Yeah. Want to hear it again? His words. "It's worth it to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year, so that we can have the Second Amendment to protect our other God-given rights." That's April 5th, 2023, in an appearance at the Salt Lake Center campus of Awakened Church. And he also put a cherry on top by saying, "That is a prudent deal." What do y'all think about that? This was a man who advocated the idea of gun violence. He advocated for it. He said, you know, look, it's a necessary thing. If we're going to keep our God-given Second Amendment rights, gun violence is necessary. Anybody trying to fight it, you're living in fantasy world. You know what I think? I think Charlie Kirk never thought it would happen to him. I think Charlie Kirk thought that if he was involved in gun violence, he would be the one that was squeezing the trigger. I think Charlie Kirk thought that he was exempt from gun violence, especially that type of gun violence, and especially after he became pretty much a rock star. He thought it couldn't happen to him. And see, this is why I talk about a lot of these things, fam, because I know the stuff that we see out here happening, it could happen to anybody. It could happen to me, it could happen to my loved ones. And ain't nobody exempt. Ain't nobody special. Even I don't care how tough you think you are. Everybody ain't scared of you. And I don't care how many guns you have. You can only squeeze one trigger at a time. Well, you can squeeze two if you won't come out blazing like the Wild Wild West. But in most cases, you're only going to be firing one gun at a time. And if you want, especially if you want to have accuracy, you're going to be firing one gun at a time. So it don't matter if you have 200 guns, don't matter if you have a tank and all that kind of stuff, you ain't going to get off with so many rounds. I don't care how smart you are, how many guns you have, how much connections you have. There's always somebody who are not going to fall for your fear tactics, and there's always going to be somebody who's not afraid of you. There's always going to be somebody who is not afraid to go to jail or die. R.I.P. Michael Jackson. No more talk.
Where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? How do we get this way? How do we get this way? How do we go back to yesterday? Yesterday. Where do we go from here? Where do we go now? How do we get this way? How do we get this way? How do we go back to yesterday?
We looking forward but walking backwards. We both wanna win, but we both inaccurate. Two sides, but no one wants to be.